So we talked about, people emailing in what they'd like the Indians to do. What does Paul Hoynes want them to do, or think they should do?
Well, obviously they have to get an infielder. To play second or third base. I don't think that's going to be that tough to do. Either you trade for somebody, or there's a lot.
That's easier than a power hitting outfielder.
Yeah, I think because there's a lot of infielders out there. I mean, if that makes sense. Brock Holt, asdrubal-cabrera, Yolmer Sanchez, a guy that the White Sox just non-tendered. So there's a lot of guys if they really want to go in that direction. You could even Travis Shaw could play third base. I don't know. He's not that good with the glove, but he's hit a lot of home runs. He had a terrible year with the Brewers. I don't know how much it'd cost you, but
right.
But I mean, they can wait that out. I think what they need. They need an outfielder that plays every day, a corner outfielder that plays every day. Mercado I think he can play center every day, but they need somebody with some power, like if let's say if they kept Puig, that's the kind of guy. If you can balance his off the field stuff.
I was going to ask that. Where do they stand on him, or where does he stand on them? Because I know he's not getting $20 million from anybody a year.
And it's so I think the clock is working with the Indians on that one. I have a gut feeling they wouldn't bring him back, but it'd be great to have somebody like that, like like a Brantley, a guy that can play every day at one of the corners. And then you can stop the rotate. I mean, platoon in all three positions.
You just wonder on Puig, when I like what I saw for the most part. But you wonder if he signs a contract 3-4 years.
Yeah.
What is he going to give you? Is he going to become a trouble guy?
Yeah,
because that's what the word was on him.
Right. I mean, and he was, he was on his best behavior, like we talked about before. They had him for a 2-month trial, so.
Well, they saw what they were going to get, but that there was more to him than what they saw.
Yeah, and he didn't hit for power. That was a surprising thing. He only hit 2 home runs here.
He looked like he was going to crank one every time up.
And I think he hit 22 with the Reds.
Yeah.
So that's an easier park to hit in.
All right, let me go back to a name you brought up, who played with us for quite some time, asdrubal-cabrera. You think he can play a full season as a starter?
I think probably not. I don't think he's going to give you 150 games, 140 games.
Right.
But I think if you could, get somebody to share the job with him, I think maybe. Freeman, maybe he could platoon with Freeman. Asdrubal's a switch hitter. Freeman's a lefty. Maybe you got some kind of platoon situation.
A guy like Freeman, there are guys like that on a lot of teams that you have tough guys to deal with. He's not going to give you any trouble. He's going to be so grateful that he's in the big leagues.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, this guy's 30, 31, 32. Yeah. And that last year was his first full season in the
That's
big
hard
leagues.
To believe.
I mean,
he stuck it out.
Yeah, he bounced around. I mean, and. That's tough, and you're right. I mean, utility infielders never give you any trouble.
Never.
Those are always the nicest guy in the team.
Right. If you want stories, that's the guy you go to. Anonymous sources. What about the pitching? If the opening day was tomorrow, who's your 5 starters?
Well, okay, I'm going with Kluber. If in a perfect world, Kluber, Carrasco, Bieber, Clevenger. And probably Plutko. Plutko's out of options, and I think you're not going to hurt yourself if you give Savali and Plesac a little more time at AAA.
When you think about it, those guys came up and they gave you quality pitching from young guys like that. I mean, if you bring up 2 or 3, as the Indians did, you hope one of them pans out.
Yeah.
All 3 of them, for the most part, did exactly what they were asked to do.
And Kluber said something along those lines when he had watched these guys, and he goes, it's one thing to be called up and get thrown into the fire and start. It's another thing to get called up, start, and keep your team and give your team a chance to win.
Sure.
And every one of those guys did.
Yeah, 3 different guys did.
Yeah. I mean,
Savali comes up and I say, well, there's no way they're getting stuff out of him, and he might have been the best of the 3.
Yeah. Plesac made like 21 starts.
That's hard to believe.
And I mean, he did a good job. I mean, his ERA was under 4.
You ever see a pickoff move by a right-hander like him?
Wow. He's got quick feet, man. It's like.
I think they had to warn the umpires before each game because otherwise, at first glance,
it was a balk?
At first glance, they would say, no, that couldn't possibly be legal. So, 216.